What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we've got a Total War Warhammer 2 versus 2 quick battle for you, where I am teamed up with my buddy Paul from Turn's channel, Paul from Paul fame, and we are both taking Dawi armies. So I've taken Clan Angren over here on the right, and he's taken the regular Dawi army over on the left. Facing off against us are a group of wood elves and a group of vampires. So the vampires without their ranged units, having no ranged units, are a good fit with the wood elves, which have great ranged units. So I kind of like the synergy they use there. And we'll see if that comes to their advantage. Over here on for my dwarf army, you'll see that I've taken two groups of slayers. Those are just the regular slayers, not the dragonback, but they should do a lot of work against those light vampire units. I really like the slayers just to chop down zombies and stuff like that with the ease. We've got a Thane here in the back. Like any good dwarf army, we do have a Thane. We do have the Tormentor sword, which is pretty much an always include now for me. And besides that, we do have Belegar Ironhammer. So I know I don't typically bring Belegar, but I thought we'd kind of switch it up. And so we do have Belegar, and he is just a beast. He's definitely hard to kill. 120 armor, silver shield, and even though he doesn't have armor piercing on his attacks, he still does pretty well in battle. Besides that, for our main damage dealers, we have two groups of hammerers. We've got the Grumbling Guard in the middle, and we do have three groups of Quarrelers with great weapons. We all know those Quarrelers with great weapons. We've seen them do well before, and if they start trying to charge in there with the back of some Wild Riders, we'll take them out with ease. And also, if the Vampire does any summons, we'll be able to cut down those zombies, no problem. We've also got one cannon here, and a front line of Dwarf Warriors mixed in with Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. And this just kind of gives some bodies to kill zombies and kill whatever can. These guys, they probably won't cut through the Eternal Guard very easily, because the Eternal Guard do have pretty high defense, but at the same time, they'll do all right. Over here on the other side here for Paul's army, you'll see he does have miners and a group of Ekron's miners. So these have the extra groups of charges, so they'll be tossing a bunch of charges. Besides that, he also has some Longbeards. He's got the Iron Breakers up there with some charges. He does have Longbeards there with great weapons, and he's got some Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Here in the back, he's got the Dragonback Slayers. He's got Ulthar's Raiders. This is just the regiment of renown army right here. He does have a group of Thunderers, a group of Slayers, and he does have the Goblobber in the back. Go ahead and pause this while we do the rest. If we look here, he has the Slayer King Ungrim Iron Fist, as well as a Runesmith, and he does have a Thane as well with the Tormentor sword. So he has all three heroes there, and he's pretty much got a ton of regiments of renown as well. So over here for the vampire army, you can see here he's got a bunch of skeletons hidden over here. Oh, let's go ahead and put on hide foliage. And so you can see he's got actually a corpse cart here with the unholy lodestone. He's got some graveguard with great weapons, a whole group of them. The Sternsman in there, that regiment renowned graveguard, those are super strong. He's also got Vladdy Daddy with a ton of spells, and he's got just a front line of skeleton warriors there to kind of soak up damage. Here in the back line, you'll see that we have this Varghulf. And he's also got some Crypt Horrors. Up in the air, you can see there's two Great Eagles. Now, you don't see the Great Eagles that often. 390 weapon strength. They've got 110 speed, so they're super fast. And I think with those Varghulfs and the Great Eagles, they're hoping to kind of just use their speed to get around beside us. Over here in the main bulk of the army, you'll see there's a group of Crypt Horrors over here, and there's another Varghulf. So there's two of those big, strong Varghulfs. They have tons of armor piercing. These Crypt Horrors have armor piercing, and so there's a lot of armor piercing. Vampire, besides those Graveguard with great weapons, they're ready to cut through some Dawi armor. Besides that, look at all these Starfire shafts. And so even though the Starfire shafts do have magical damage, they also have armor piercing. So, I think it's a give and take some, but I think they may be the best archers to use dwarves. That's the ones I always pick. I always mix one of those. He's also got some Eternal Guard with shields, and they've led by Durthu. So if you see there, Durthu actually has a good number of spells as well, and he does have this Spell Singer of Life. So he has a ton of different options to use. Hidden in the back here are two groups of Wildwood Rangers. So we really didn't know about those, but you can see just a huge amount of can openers that the other side has brought. Okay, let's go ahead and get this battle started. And right off the bat, you'll see that they just start moving up and start taking shots right into Paul's army. But those Ironbreakers, you know, with their bronze shields, they'll be able to soak up some pretty good damage. And we're returning fire with our with our Goblobber over here. So the Goblobber already has 11 kills, and it's just landing right into the Glade Guard when they weren't moving. Over here, you'll see the Varghulf is actually engaged with Ekron's miners, but since those miners do have armor piercing, and there's that group of Thunderers shooting them as well, that Varghulf is going to go down pretty quickly. Over here, you'll see the Varghulf is also engaged with my front line, and so have the Cryptors. If we take an overarching look at the battle here, let's go ahead and take a look in the back. You can see these Cryptors are just going to start going right down to the Quarrelers. Besides that, we've got some of these great weapon units kind of tying up this Varghulf. And here in the main line, you will see that they have engaged. So we've got these Slayers in here fighting Skeleton Warriors, Hammers, Dwarf Warriors in here, and you see these Skeleton Warriors, they're going to break right off the bat. And then when we have all of these other big Dwarfs, we're going to have them right engaged with these Graveguard, and that's kind of where we want them. With our Quarrelers up here on the hill, since they do have great weapons, it's going to be a little bit harder to take them out for the other players than they thought. You see the Great Eagle is landing here, but we are actually taking those Cryptors right out. We're cutting that Invocation to heck, so that's a wasted spell right there, and we cut right through them. Those Hammers were just doing pretty good work along with those Quarrelers. Here in the back, you'll see that Paul is taking down this Varghulf, which is almost dead. And Ungrim's in here with just tons of runes on him, and that Varghulf is just healed over, and that was that. Here in the front, these Longbeards with great weapons have kind of overextended, and they're going to get taken down, and it looks like the Goblobber has only managed to take out that one group of archers. So not as many archers dead as you would hope. Here in the main line, you'll see my main line is fully engaged, and we're just doing fine. We've got plenty of health. Those Graveguard actually have plenty of health too, though, so we're really going to want to try to do something about all this stuff in our backline. You see, he has managed to kill this group of Quarrelers. You can see in the background that these Glade Guard are starting to shoot in here. Let's see if we can get a better angle. And you can see here that Durthu is actually here in the backline of Paul. There's just a major battle going on. Luckily for Paul, those Thunderers are just teeing away, so is the Goblobber, and he just has like two groups of Slayers back here. They're just minding their own business, protecting that Goblobber, so it is going to be fighting for a while. Lucky for me though, these Hammers have gotten onto the Varghulf, and you see the health is just going to drop drastically on that Varghulf. We do have some Quarrelers shooting in. These Hammers with their huge armor-piercing weapon strength, they're knocking that bad boy down. So he has to pull that Varghulf out of there, and it's a great job there, getting those skeletons to tie up my expensive units there. And those skeletons will actually eat through my Hammers pretty quickly because of their low defense. This is just like the most optimal thing for him to do. His Varghulf is over here, but we have managed to get another group of Hammers or great weapons on there. We've got the Gremlin Guard on top of him. We're still shooting, and we're going to do some major damage as well. We get a look here in the back. This Corpse card is actually starting to get teed off. I've got all my Quarrelers facing off on it, and you'll see that as the health just drops on it right away. So it's super important that we don't let this thing keep going on, because it is causing AoE effects for the entire army here. So as soon as we can take that Corpse card out, the better. And I think that actually, oh man, look at that huge cannon shot. So we're actually got the hill here, and these Hammers are still going to pull through. I mean, the Skeleton Warriors weren't able to kill them completely. Once this Corpse card goes down, I think that really puts a little tick in our favor. Over here for Paul's army, you'll see that Durthu is now surrounded. So pretty much all of the front lines there were defeated. You see there's one group of Glade Guard off, but you know, Durthu is just surrounded. He's getting chopped down. He's got that Thane on him. He's got all these miners. He's got he's got those Ulthar's Raiders. He's got all sorts of troops just surrounding him. Here in the back, you'll see the Ungrim is moving in, but a lot of the Longbeards are dead. There's not very many Longbeards left. Oh, look at that huge hit from that. Oh man, that Goblobber is still doing major work. So I mean, that thing has just been protected the whole time. That was even though those Slayers weren't you know, in the battle a lot of the time, I think holding on to that was actually a good idea. Besides that, you see here, I've actually kind of decided that my frontline engagement is going to win, so I am starting to use my Quarrelers and my cannon to help out Paul over here on the right. So as he's kind of just, oh my god, let's see, hold on, oh my god, let's see if we can get that. Oh, look at Durthu. Durthu is made of fire. Fire Durthu. Oh my god, guys, look at that. That is so cool. I think I've got a screenshot of that. That is on fire Durthu, man. That is great. Oh, guys, look at that. So either way, so you see Durthu is obviously not too much longer for this earth. Let's go ahead and press play, and you see he's actually wavering. His health is dropping, and like with all these slayers and longbeards and just everything, I mean, look at that. Look at all of those explosions. I mean, he probably took some of his own damage, but Durthu is now shattered. All of those archers are kind of, you know, just broken off, and the rest that's fighting here is just here all of these graveguard are remaining. So these are really expensive graveguard, but since they were kind of clumped up like that against my high armor dwarves, they just weren't able to get through. We were able to take that corpse card out with our ranged units, and I mean, you know, now without the wood elves, you'll see the troop count is going to drop really quickly. The leadership is just going to drop for the vampires. I mean, they never run though. So we do have a few zombies remaining. You see Vladdy Daddy is in here. Let's see if we can get a look at him fighting off against Belegar in the end there. Oh man, look at that. Look at that swipe. All right, look at that. We'll see the final duel here as Vlad turns and takes out a hammer. That hammer was not playing around. That is it. Vlad is dead, and you know that those zombies, I mean, I think some of them are summoned, so they may not, they won't disperse right away, but we're just going to finish them off here, wrap it up, and we are victorious. So I think a big important part of this was just we had a good position up here on the hill, and it was really difficult for them to dislodge our you know, our quarrelers and our thunderers. Just really had free reign, along with those artillery pieces we had as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at this post-game wrap-up. You can see El Diablo and Gator actually did really well, but me and Paul actually pulled it out. So we didn't take that many losses. The dwarves that we had were actually pretty strong. If we take a look at my army, I mean, look at all the kills we got. The hammers, 166, 188 on this group, so they were able to cut through that chaff pretty easily. 177 on this group of slayers. So even though they died, I mean, they took a lot of units with them. I know there was a lot of skeletons, which kind of pumps up these numbers, but that was kind of my goal, was to have these heavy hitting units to be able to kill a lot of skeletons, and even the dwarf warriors, you see, were able to get a bunch of kills. So they did the fodder front line did its work, allowed these big heavy hitting units to do theirs, and we actually got 2 chevrons on this group of quarrelers. So these quarrelers were actually able to do a lot of damage. 66 kills and a chevron on the cannon, so you know, I mean, just all around, just, you know, pretty strong performance from this army. For Paul's army, you can see he was fighting against a little bit different of a squad, so they only took 310 losses on the wood elves, so most of those were to this goblobber. So even though, I mean, you saw he was in there fighting Durthu, he was, you know, he had a bunch of units surrounded, tossing tons of mining charges and, you know, blasting charges, the iron breakers, but that goblobber, it was getting in there and it was just smashing things to pieces. Some of the great eagles, I think, were killed by some of my units, but I mean, Paul really just dissected Durthu, took him down. Took down, you know, a lot of these units, and I think he just routed those Wildwood Rangers right off the field. Unless maybe they were left and they just didn't get in, because if that's what happened, then that could be a significant reason why they lost this game. Either way, it was a fun one to watch with all of these Varghulfs getting in there. We were able to take that corpse cart down pretty quickly, and overall it was just, you know, a pretty fun battle to behold. You saw Vlad fighting it in the end there, but you know, I think just overall they probably needed to drop some of the spells that we saw. I mean, that's always a good thing. If you guys don't know, you only want to take 1 or 2 spells, because the gold is better used on other places if you know, since you won't have the Winds of Magic to use 5 different spells. And you know, just make sure if you're checking all your units. Sometimes when I have a second of downtime, I'll just kind of click through all my units, double click on them, it goes right to them, and you can figure out kind of if they were in the battle. I'm not sure whether or not they would have helped. I mean, we had a ton of units remaining, but it was a you know, good sight to behold the Dawi just destroying those forces coming against them. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe below for more great online content. We'll have more videos coming soon. This is Black Iron, and this has been another one of Black Iron's battles.